So about a month ago, I did a video about how to get the most out of your REI membership. Today, I want to take it the other way and talk about things that I think REI could be doing better. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that are new, I want to just give you a little bit background. I'm an outdoor educator. I worked for 15 years for REI in a number of capacities, but a lot of that time was in the outdoor experiences realm for REI. Yes. I also worked in stores and trained staff and things like that. But I feel like that gives me some insight into things that I would like REI to do a little bit better. Some of those are environmentally based. Some of those are just sort of how they support the outdoor community, particularly the outdoor kayaking community, which obviously is important to me. Number one on the list is I don't understand why REI, particularly REI stores in the Southeast, Central United States, Southwest, don't have their roofs covered with solar panels. I don't understand why they're not using solar to offset the cost of electricity and to run the stores on cleaner power. That to me seems like a no-brainer. You get huge tax incentives for installing solar. I'm sure there's a good reason why they don't do it, but that one does not make sense to me. I'd also like to see things in stores like water fountains that are designed to refill water bottles. Like we see those in gyms all the time, but I have yet to see one of those in an REI. Granted, I have not been in every REI, though I've been in a lot of them. And those should be regular things. That would be really, really wonderful. Another thing that I would really like to see on the environmental front is this. Years ago, REI stopped offering holiday gift boxes. So you could buy something, like you go shopping at REI during the holidays, and when you're checking out, they'll offer you, or you can ask for, a gift box for the item so you can easily wrap them and move on. REI stopped doing that years ago, which I really applaud. It's just wasteful. It just ends up in landfill. Similarly, REI uses very nice, probably recycled content, brown paper bags as their shopping bags. And I think that just has to end. Paper bags, believe it or not, are really bad for the environment. Even if they're recycled, even if they come from sustainable forests, which most of them do, they don't break down in landfills. They may get used more than plastic bags, but the plastic grocery bags that we all know and love, we don't love them. The plastic grocery bags that we all know were invented in the 1970s during the oil crisis, and they use very little oil, and they break down really quickly. So I am not saying that REI should be using plastic shopping bags by any stretch. I'm saying they shouldn't be offering shopping bags at all. REI makes really great cloth reusable bags that I use for groceries, and you can easily use them for shopping. And what they could do is, for people who don't have a reusable bag with them and don't want to buy one, you can have a paper shopping bag, but it's going to cost you $0.25 or something like that. Something to make it prohibitive for people to do it every day for multiple items. Let's just get rid of paper shopping bags. That is low-hanging fruit, and I would be willing to bet paper shopping bags cost REI a lot of money. They must use a lot of them. So I think that's an easy one to sort of just give up on. So let's just give up on it. No more paper shopping bags from REI. Another thing that I'd like to see REI do from an environmental front is I think every REI store has a bike shop, and you can bring in any bike, whether you bought it from REI or not, to be repaired and or maintained in that bike shop. I would like to see those bike shops transformed into general repair shops. I would like it if you could bring in a jacket that has a tear and have it repaired, or just reapply the durable water repellency to the jacket or rain pants or even a tent fly. I'd like you to be able to go in there with a broken tent pole and have the tent pole repaired instead of having to buy a whole new set from Tent Pole Technologies, or something as simple as replacing the bungees, which I can tell you a lot of people have problems with, certainly based on the number of views I get on this video, right? One of my best videos is about how to replace the shock cord in your tent pole. You should be able to bring any gear that you have bought anywhere into an REI store and get it repaired. REI already does a good job with selling used gear, which I really like. It keeps stuff out of landfill. And you can, a lot of people don't realize it, you can buy some used gear online from rei.com. There is a used gear section of the website. But that I think we need to ramp up is repairs on gear. That I think is super important, and I'd love to see that. On a paddle-specific front, I have some real issues with the way REI sort of handles us. I have issues with the way the outdoor industry handles kayakers, particularly sea kayakers. That's probably a conversation for another day. But if you walk into an REI store, chances are when you open that front door, your hands are pulling a door handle that is actually an ice axe. And that is because climbing is ingrained in REI's culture. To a degree, so is cycling ingrained in their culture. And you can walk into just about any REI store and find a high-end bike, be it for mountain or road. And I'm talking about a multi-$1,000 bike. Certainly there are better bikes out there, but you're not walking into an REI store and seeing just $500 mountain bikes, right? You can get a full suspension $2,000 mountain bike at just about any REI. So compare that to kayaking. Most stores, particularly on the East Coast, which are the stores I generally see, you see recreational kayaks, you see sit-on-top kayaks. In the South, you see kayaks that are suitable for fishing, but REI has this sort of weird, we don't really do fishing, but we sell you kayaks for fishing, right? I would like to see better options for people who aspire to do multi-day or trips in kayaks or sea kayaking or kayak touring, call it what you will. Whereas REI really only can outfit paddlers at the beginner and recreational level. And that is where the bulk of their customers are. But the bulk of their cycling customers are pretty entry level as well, yet there are options for high-end bikes. You can get some options for high-end kayaks online, but it's spotty. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. So in general, I would like to see more options in stores for paddlers. Like if I walk into an REI in the Southeast and want to buy a Class 5 PFD, I'm out of luck. There is no chance that I'm going to find one of those in a store, be able to try it on. I can order it, usually, but I absolutely can't try it on. The same is true of paddles. If I want to put my hands on a Werner Calliste, that's not happening. I can order it online, but they don't have them in stores. And really part of that, and this goes to the industry as a whole, there are not that many of us that are kayak touring or multi-day kayaking or want high-end paddles. And so there isn't all that much backstock in that inventory. But you don't know. Maybe more people would do it if they could see the product and see how nice the product looks and say to themselves, hey, I'd really like to do that thing. Another issue that we have as paddlers is most REI stores don't stock paddle gear really beyond the fall. Inventories even get low on the website, and I'm pretty sure that's because for most people, the paddling season in the Pacific Northwest ends in the fall. And Seattle is where REI is based, and I think that a lot of the stuff that they do is based on what's going on in Seattle at any point in the year. I would love to see more options. Like here in the Southeast, people paddle all year long, But if you need a PFD in January, chances are you're going to have to order one online. They'll have a handful in a store, but not a size run of 5 different options in PFDs. Just not happening. So I'd like to see that year longer. So better boats, better support gear all year long would be things, as a paddler, I would love to see from REI. Equally, particularly on the East Coast, it's hard to get high-level kayak instruction from REI. Now this, as someone who taught paddling for REI, we had a hard time even scheduling advanced paddle classes. I suspect that that's happening more on the West Coast. I know a couple of paddle instructors who still work for REI on the West Coast, and they are running a lot of classes and the higher level classes. So I think there's more of that on the West Coast, but we should have access to that on the East Coast. And I would love to see, REI has been talking for at least a decade that I worked for them. I don't know if they're talking about it now. Smaller stores that are more relevant to one sort of thing. Like you go to the beach and they sell like cruiser bikes, right? I'd like to see a paddle specific store. I know that they were running boat houses where you could rent boats and things like that. I didn't get a chance to check any of them out, but I'm pretty sure those all ended with COVID. I don't know if those still exist. So that's something I'll look into. And if I can do a road trip to a boathouse, I'll definitely do that. Those are the things that I think REI could be doing better. I love REI. I think it's a great company. I've been a member way longer than I worked for them. As I said, I worked for them for about 15 years. For 15 years I worked for them. And still shop at the stores, was in one the other day. When I go someplace new for me, if there's an REI, I'll happily check it out. I want to see what the stores look like. But I'd like to see better support for us. I'd like to see some better stuff for the environment, particularly for keeping stuff out of landfill. Okay, that's what I've got for this. If you like this, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. Books are available on Amazon. Otherwise, I'll see you on the water.